want to preach too much, but that's what I'm doing. I'm preaching, but about something that we feel like we're all affected by, which is Instagram or just social media addiction. This will hijack your mind, and it does hijack your mind. Your mind is your greatest tool. You could say it's like your strong spanner. It's like your best spanner that you have available. Intensely beautiful spanner. If it's not working, then your spirit cannot work in this life. Your spirit uses this body and this mind, organism, in order to bring forth its potentials, its unique gift or gifts to this life. And we know this, and we know that this is kind of, even if we don't know that we know this, it's there. We know that we're meant to be doing something in terms of our expression, even if we don't know exactly what that is yet. We know that there's something there, we know that we're meant to be doing something. We won't know what that is if our best tool in our toolbox is not functioning. It's the tool whereby the spirit can express itself. So that tool needs to be clear. There's no real end to how clear that tool can be from my learnings and from my experience. I think we all experience this to some degree as well. Hilda Charlton said how Krishna's flute is like a metaphor for allowing God to move through us, being through our mind being empty. For Krishna's flute, the only reason the music can play through Krishna's flute is because the flute is empty. So there's no real end to how far this can go. We can become so empty that God will just move through us. And the more empty we are, the more our higher nature moves through us. Which is to say, the more clear our mind is, the more in touch with our soul we are, our innate purpose in this life, God's intention, our true intention. These are all the soul, God, true intention, purity, clarity. These are all the same thing. It's the different words for the same thing, which is just our real nature, our real nature, our actual desires. There's a spectrum of desires, isn't there? There's what you could consider, in one sense, lower desires. Nothing's really lower, really. These are kind of labels of the mind, lower and higher, where we try and categorize everything. But there's desires that equate to a lower vibratory effect in the body and the mind. So desires of seeing attractive people on the street and saying, I want to go to bed with that person. That's a more animal state of consciousness desire. It's very automatic, very habitual, repetitive. And then we have the whole spectrum of desires. You could say there's a spectrum of desires, and the highest desire would be to be clear and to express my heart in this world. We cannot do that if we're at the mercy of algorithms. It doesn't really, my teacher says, what are you plugging into? Or what gods are you plugging into? Are you plugging into the Instagram gods? Or are you plugging into the divine? So, really be careful with this. I just deactivated my account with Instagram specifically. I use Facebook, because there's nothing really on there for me. I have to be careful of searching niche vehicles in Mexico, things like that. That's where I'm currently staying, and that's something that really tickles my desires, I guess, in some way. Yeah, so and I just use that as a platform of community, staying kind of in touch with people and for people to stay in touch with me. But we must really contemplate this element of our experience. I think everything comes down to contemplation, really. Are you really thinking about this, or are you just fighting with yourself? You know, like in and out and fighting, fighting, fighting. You can do that for a period, but there comes a point where you really need to think about this, like truly think. Like this is what the word contemplation is. It's not just thinking; it's truly thinking. You know, and for me, the foundation of that is meditation. So, are we rooted and anchored in our practice day after day? Which because of contemplation will come naturally from that. It just happens. You become more aware of what's going on in your experience. And when you're more aware, you start to think about things more. You see things with more clarity. More clarity comes online. So really think about this. And yeah, my life is a lot better since I deactivated my account. A lot better. That's just me. So all the best to you.